You be crying at home because when you take all the pound of makeup off, the caterpillars over your eyes, the hair, the shoulder pads, the breast pads, all that shit, the whole fake a nigga out body kit and face kit that you get off of Amazon and all that shit.
Guys have their things too.
Yeah, but it's not like how women do it. When you take all that shit off and you're in your most vulnerable moment and state, that shit hurt. That shit hurt because men understand and accept, hey, I gotta pay to play. So women need to also do that. All of y'all not dons. All y'all not bad bitches. I'm sorry, you're not. The majority of the women out there, you got probably 4s and 5s at best. You're average or slightly below average. And the problem is, since it's the holidays, right?
Since it's the holidays, okay.
And, something's been coming across my feed as of late. Was it Friendsgiving? What is it called? Is that what it's called? Friendsgiving. And in particularly, Leslie Jones. You know what that is?
I don't.
She's a comedian, woman, with very strong features. And, she's been on the internet for over the last, few years talking about she can't find anyone and she can't find anyone suitable to date. And look, no disrespect. Just her appearance, I thought she was a stud. I didn't know she liked men, but apparently she likes men. And, her features are very masculine. Let's just say that, right? And, as of late, I know that it's been on my feed quite a bit that, she's just talking about she can't find anybody today.
I don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful, I'm rich, I can fight. I will say it, I love men, thanks.
Yeah.
But I don't love a stupid man. If you can't be with my peace, you can be with the door.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in your masculine area. Well, why don't you get in yours? I'm sick of men telling me, oh, well, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Well, what you bringing to the table? I am the table.
I wanted to ask you, with all the Friendsgiving and all this other nut shit that people come up with during the holiday season, single people come up with to, I guess, justify or help cope being alone. Because, listen, being alone, it ain't fun. Like, I know that you see all these, boss ladies and, everybody's, living their best life. But again, like I always say, when the camera is off, when the flip phone is closed or fold is closed, and you log off of IG, Facebook, and all the rest of the other social media platforms, and you're no longer out at the clubs or the lounges or the bars, you be crying at home. Because when you take all the pound of makeup off, the caterpillars over your eyes, the hair, the shoulder pads, the breast pads, all that shit, the whole fake a nigga out body kit and face kit that you get off of Amazon and all that shit.
Guys have their things too.
Yeah, but it's not like how women do it. When you take all that shit off and you're in your most vulnerable moment and state, that shit hurt. That shit hurt because when you don't have a guy or a significant other, whatever your preference is, you can't go out with nobody. You ain't got no family for real to go to. You ain't got nobody to bring you a bowl of soup when you cold or when you have a cold. All that fly shit you do online and all that popping you do online, that shit means nothing because you're longing for somebody. And I'm saying all of that to say this. Whether it's a passenger prince or a passenger princess, I think those people, the things that both of them have in common, either or, is broken promises, right? And the first broken promise is to yourself, because you're out here telling everybody that you're happy, you're living the best life. And I respect Leslie Jones because she's successful, right? I think she's worth millions of dollars. And she's openly coming out saying that she can't get a suitable spouse and she wants one. And, you know, a lot of people was in her comments, you know, calling her names, saying that she looked like every and anything that's not pleasant, right? But I took the perspective of it is, this is a woman who's saying that she's reached the pinnacle of her career, of her life. And she has nobody to share it with. And she's being vocal about that. And instead of people laughing at that and shaming her and saying all these things, because you got comedians. And look, she was saying some nut shit too, like, you know, as far as what she looking for. I think she needs to understand with her features and all that comes with her, she's going to have to pay to play to get the type of guy that she's talking about she wants and deserves. Just like less attractive men understand and accept that, hey, I got to pay to play. So women need to also do that. All of y'all not dons. All y'all not bad bitches. I'm sorry, you're not. The majority of the women out there, you got probably 4s and 5s at best. You're average or slightly below average. And the problem is, we talked about this before, you all as women, as crews, as sisters, lie to each other over and over and over and over and over again, instead of just being honest. I think in order for guys and women to come to a place of synergy, a place of balance, everybody got to stop fucking lying. And women can't get upset when men say we have a preference. Women, y'all say y'all got a preference all the time. Y'all don't want no short niggas. Y'all don't want no bald niggas. You don't want no fat niggas. You don't, like y'all go through the list. As soon as a guy say something, we body shaming. But y'all do it all the time. So my point is, during this holiday season, right? My challenge is going to be to all the bad bees, the single out there. Step back into reality, right? Step back into reality. Find yourself. Stop breaking promises to yourself. Stop listening to what your friends say. If you can get a man, regardless of what he may look like or whatever the case may be, get you somebody that's going to be there for you. Get you somebody that's going to take care of you. Get you somebody when you're not feeling well, you got to go to the dentist or you got a cold, somebody's going to be there to bring you soup. Because ain't none of your girlfriends coming to do that shit. And I think that if women start doing that, and the reason why I'm talking about women, because I think women have it worse than men do. Because men, regardless of all the flexing and stunning and all that shit that men try to do online, when they get home too, they cry at home too. Right? Most of them cry at home too, but they're different between men and women. It ain't nothing new. Men already knew that shit. If a man has a bald head or balding, men already know. Men are very self-conscious. But you know what? We are taught, we're raised to not give a fuck because bald spots, fat stomachs, short, bumpy faces, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can improve your SMV by other things. Become wealthy, become successful, smell good, be a funny nigga. Work with the resources you got. If you got 3 good things, then you be the best at those 3 good things. Exhaust those 3 attributes. But see, women don't think like that because your sister circle lies to you repeatedly. You see your girlfriends coming out the house looking crazy as fuck. Y'all don't tell them, no, girl, you bad. You her shit popping buttons and shit. Just because they make it don't mean they made it for you. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I know I kind of went on, but my point that I'm trying to make is I want to really talk about the holiday season. And for many of those people who deal with passenger princess or princess,
Mm-hmm.
how to maneuver. Because these next month, 2 months, it's going to be hard. Or next month, it's going to be hard. Got Christmas, New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going to see them. You're not going to see these people. So what are you going to do going into the new year? How can you become a better version and see the flags of these passenger princes, these passenger prince,
Mm.
and can prevent your heart from being broken? What do you think?
I think that with people like that, it's not necessarily that. I think it's maybe two different types of people. I mean, the passenger prince or princess. I think those people you probably will see around the holidays. You know, you could see them. I think those are the people that are. I think because they're going to be around to play their role, right? But I think what you're alluding to, maybe there are. It sounds like a little more like when someone's playing a side chick that you might not see people during the holidays. So whatever, the term you might use or but I think the biggest thing you have to do is to observe how people are moving during, not just the holidays, but any season. I think you got to observe how they're moving and govern yourself accordingly. I think the one thing when, you went on like a soliloquy, um, but, yeah, one thing I've been thinking is that how anyone is successful at getting something or gaining your attention or getting anything from you is because they're feeding something that you need. So, meaning that there would be no passenger prince, no passenger princess to partake or come to be a part of your circle or part of your life if they weren't providing something that you were seeking. So, let's talk about accountability, right?
Okay.
Because like I said, they're bringing something, they're filling some type of void, whether that's, oh, I'm so busy, so I need you to, you be here so you can watch the kids. And then they just fall into that place. They're actually probably playing the position that you want them to play, that you need them to play. But as time goes on, maybe your expectations change. And now you want them to evolve, grow. You're wanting them to change, but that's who they signed up to be.
Mm.
So I think in relationships, because I think you've alluded to this, this show or previous shows, is that, a lot of times, men want women to say the same.
Facts.
Women want men are seeking and looking for men to change. And we're actually sometimes going into the situation saying, I know I can change him.
Yeah, build a bear, build a man, build a project.
And I've
Yeah.
said projects. We look a lot of times. So I think to some degree, women sometimes are probably a little more susceptible to fall into the loins of a passenger prince because of the nature of us wanting to help nurture in situations.
What happens when you are a co-manager of a project and you don't know?
Let me break that down to me. It's a little late at night. What do you mean?
You're a professional. You have a career. You understand that it can be two co-managers, project leads. What I'm saying is, when we're talking about passenger prince, passenger princesses.
Mhm.
Like I know last show we talked about specifically in a marriage per se, but there's passenger prince and passenger princesses in other types of relationships, meaning that there can be a passenger prince or a passenger princess in a situationship. I think when you started, I think you were you were on target when you said that usually when you have a passenger prince or a passenger princess, they are fulfilling needs or requirements or desires of yours, right? But also sometimes that passenger prince, like if you're not in a marriage, now I'm just talking about relationships as a
Okay.
whole,
Okay.
they're not just only in your car, they're in somebody else's car too. So they're splitting their time, meaning that you're co-managing this project. So it could be another person that has the same expectations for this passenger prince, right? Thinking that they can change him. And we see this all the time, right? Now I'm just talking again. I'm not talking about being in a marriage, right? I'm not talking about being in a committed marriage. I'm talking about in a relationship.
Hello.
And I'm talking about sometimes the red flags that we choose or people choose not to look at. So if someone's just showing up, doing everything that you want them to do, right? Being the person you want them to be,
Mhm.
right? We're never showing that they're individual or they have interests of their own,
Mhm.
right? That person could also be doing it for somebody else, right? They could be doing it for somebody else. And at some point, what happens when both project leads or project managers,
Need you to work on something?
they want you to evolve or work on something.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people in today's, and I'm trying to tie it into like what I was really talking about being alone on the holidays, even though you might have a passenger prince in your life.
Okay.
You share that nigga if you ain't with them right now
I got you. So
or the holidays, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was talking about. And go ahead.
No, so that's helpful. So yeah, so what you're clarifying it too, that, obviously it could be a situation where you're not married and you're in a situationship and, it's complicated type relationship structures. So yeah, so I can see what you're
Because
saying.
in a
They
relationship
may not be able to be there for you on Thanksgiving or there for you
or any of the holidays,
on
you share that nigga. He ain't yours.
right. And a person who feels that type of job role, right? Who responds to that type of job wanted ad, you're right. They're gonna cast their net. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna work over here 4 hours, here for, they're gonna kind of cast their net. Why? Because they're kind of seizing opportunities and not really and I think it comes down to not really, for me, fully investing. They're not fully invested in anything. They're kind of casting, kind of seeing what's going to stick. Throwing a lot of stuff and seeing what sticks, and what sticks we'll move forward with, right? So if you're the first one to stick, or you give a little more, you're showing a little more promise, or you have a little more coins, you might win out, and so you might become sole lead on the project.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's what they're saying online about Todd and Candy. She went into the relationship understanding or knowing
Mm-hmm.
that she was a co-manager of this project, which was Todd.
Ooh.
Because they allegedly said that he was living with his girlfriend.
Hold on. I wish we had some help on the set, because I think I need a refill in my water. It's actually water tonight, but I think I do need a refill.
So
Really?
yes, that's my point.
This is some tea. You drinking tea and giving tea, okay?
Now this is a hottie toddy, but whatever.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I'm trying to tie it all together.
You're doing a good.
I think in those situations, right? When you come into a situationship and you know that this other person is dealing with somebody else, and you choose to proceed with this relationship, thinking that you're going to entice them or whatever you have to entice them with. In her situation, the fortune, the fame, the glitz, the glitter,
It's a lot.
the access. So fast forward 15 years down the road, don't be upset if somebody said it was a play, because it was a play that you willingly bought tickets to. It's a play that you willingly helped set up and facilitate and execute. It's a play that you knew.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people, when you talk about these passenger prince and passenger princesses and broken promises, goes back to what we said on the first episode. A lot of people are not that skillful at masking who they are.
Mm-mm. Not for a extended period of
We just choose not to look.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think women are
Oh, yeah.
the biggest culprits of
'Cause
that.
y'all getting digged down and all the other shit. Because women, you all glorify or honor the wrong things when you're at a certain age. When you're younger, you honor and value the wrong things.
Yeah.
Right? And it takes heartache. It takes missteps. It takes redos to really identify that shit 2 miles away. So then you don't make the same mistakes. But, again, I think like with women, and I think that, today women are, and I don't want to blame everything on social media, but it has changed the way we socialize. It's changed the way we live. It's changed civilization.
Yeah.
From it has pros and cons.
Yeah.
I say the con that it had is because people inability to cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's a detriment to society. People inability to be able to tell between real and fake.
Yeah.
That's a detriment to society. See, social media, and I say this all the time, I should probably copyright it, right?
Don't say it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. But it gives the illusion that the world is a utopia or social media is a utopia. See, it's very few negative things that come scrolling across your timeline, right? It's very few negative things.
Yeah.
It's most about everybody getting rich, everybody know how to flip credit, everybody know how to flip houses, everybody getting flown out, everybody in Dubai, everybody in Abu Dhabi, everybody in Turtle Island, everybody in Fiji. Everybody is doing so fucking well. And the reality is, it's only a small percentage of people who actually are doing well. The majority of the country, the majority of the world is fucking struggling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make the nexus between the connectivity between what my point that I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just focus on relationships. The social media has just amplified the spoil me philosophy. Everybody's a bad bitch. If a nigga don't spoil you, if a nigga don't buy you a Birkin, if a nigga don't do this, if a nigga don't do that, you out of there. That's not fucking reality. You know what I mean? Everybody's a baddie online. Everybody has it going their way. As a kid, some kids say, everybody got motion. Everybody don't. No, that's not fucking reality. There's a lot of people hurting out here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people barely making ends meet. It's a lot of people that can't go on the trip. It's a lot of people that can't go to the fucking beach. It's a lot of people that just can't go fucking in town or out of town. It's a lot of people that's very limited. No, I'm serious. I'm not being facetious. So I think like if you and I think I hope that this is really, I hope it's really taking an impact and toll on the younger kids. I don't like it, but my point I'm making is it's very sad to see somebody 40 plus buying into that nut shit, believing that shit. Like the kids, that's all they knew. But all these kids are swipe left, swipe right babies, right? All in technology forever, right? Since they've been born. But I'm talking about people that's 80 babies, 70s babies. We know better.
Mm.
We know better, right? And it's just like, it's been such a negative on relationships because you have these grown ass women looking online and saying that should be me. or that is me when it's not actually you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how do we balance it? Where do we get to a point where we say, hey, I'm going to turn that shit off? This is entertainment. This is ultra reality. It's not the life that I'm living in. And the flip side is really quick. Then you got guys, the red pill guys and the other guys that kind of borderline seem to come off like they hate women. They're trying to regain their power.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing wrong with that, right? Because I think my generation, our generation, we kind of ushered in, we paved the way for what's now. Like the whole era when every chick was a fucking video vixen, right? Every chick was a model. I remember some chick kind of told me, shit, I said, but you a chick, ugly chick that like to take pictures. You know, fucking video vixen. You know, model. How you model? You know what I'm saying? So I think my generation, our generation, kind of really ushered in this shit now, but everybody's a bad bitch. And back, like when our parents, women didn't take it offensive if you said they were an average looking woman. Women didn't get offended back then.
When was this?
Like what our parents did. Why is there something wrong with saying that you're an average looking woman?
No, I just never heard that before.
Yeah, because you grew up in that fucking era. Everybody's a 10 when you're not.
I've just never heard. Yeah.
It was not an insult to say she's an average looking woman.
But why are you saying that to someone's face? I guess that's what I mean.
Because motherfuckers need to know. The guys, y'all like guys, no, you're not a handsome guy. And guys said,
no, what I'm saying is if your person is not your preference, you can just move on. You don't have to. That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, you could. It's not like people just walking out the you're an average bitch.
Was there though? But the people they are walking like, let's dap up 10s, go around the city and dapping up 10s, the men and women. So they are evaluating people on social media, and you're right. They would go around saying, oh, let's dap up all the 5s, I'm right. That's not going to be popular. You don't want to be trending on that.
Do you think there's more? You think there's more 5s or 10s?
As with anything, do you think it's more 5s?
Do you think it's more 5s or 10s?
Of course, there's more people in the middle. Of course.
So what's wrong with being in the middle?
People don't want to.
Motherfuckers don't get mad. Motherfuckers don't get mad when they do an IQ. They say you're average intelligence.
Right, or if you making, you're middle class, you're making $500,000, and you don't make that. You're not in that 1%. It's good to be, where you kind of are in the middle. You're right, but looks is something different. I think for women, looks just how society views women looks, and really, to use your word, we're getting a little off topic, but to kind of bring this all around, I think how it is related. We think about the topic that we started off talking about, right? And the couple we started off talking about, what were they on? What did they get there? How did they come together? What brought them together?
Reality TV,
social media.
But I don't think
reality TV.
I don't think nobody would say Todd's a handsome 10, and nobody would say Candy's a 10.
No,
they're being honest.
No, I was not. I wasn't so far. I'm just saying. I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying how the influence. You mentioned the strong influence of social media, and and no, reality TV is not social media, but it's aired on there, and kind of transcends through social media. So that's the kind of tie that I'm giving. But what I'm saying is, like, even their relationship in some ways was impacted, good and bad, by social media, their reality TV presence. So you got to kind of ask, most of us will never have a relationship that is seen under that like microscope and that lens. So you have to wonder in both of their stances, and obviously other relationships too, how much it could even been, like driven by ratings, social media, or
a bad chat.
Yeah, like
for sure.
They want to see this, and this is going to help our bag go up, and then the impact that has on our real life. You know what I mean? So that was the tie I was making with.
I love that. I mean, yeah, I think that's another reason why the relationship probably didn't last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're willing
Lots
to
of
put
pressure.
your relationship, you're ready to sacrifice your relationship over ratings in the bag.
And it's their whole relationship too. If I'm not mistaken, their entire relationship was.
So then, was it ever really real?
Right. I think the majority. I mean, I didn't fact check this, but I mean, I think the majority of their relationship was on.
Yeah.
The
And
show.
it's hard as hell to have a relationship in private. So how do you square it to have a relationship in front of millions of people?
Yeah. And I just think human nature and the drive, because you're doing it for a reason, right? You're not doing it. So, we want everyone to see our love and to see how great we are and to, if we can help someone. And, they're not doing it potentially for those type of, reasons. You're doing it for the exposure, for the check. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I mean, who knows? I mean, I wonder, I mean, also that could have been the driver that, that could have been part of it and made it in some ways more appeasing too on both parties. I get to get put on and I get to kind of stay on, because you also think about too, how was Candy's role on the show prior to that? Because when she got, when she's in the air, when she got started off, it was a little lukewarm.
I just don't know, because then
she remained. Hold on, and then she remained one of the only housewives that stayed married. The course of the Atlanta, show. That.
I don't know, because I mean, it's a different way. If you're doing it a play on, getting to the chicken, getting to the money, then you don't have to bring kids in there to do that. Like, they would have followed them. They didn't have to have kids for them.
Yeah. I'm not saying the whole thing.
It was just enough. It was more than enough drama and friction to keep them on there by themselves with her.
Oh, I mean,
her mom, her employees, aunts.
But if you think about it, she had a hell of a storyline, though. Very dynamic.
Yeah,
she did, and it helped.
And when the daughter, you kind of watch her grow up and go off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, I think you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And I think that's in any relationship, not just their relationship.
Yeah.
I think that you can't expect to reap the rewards or the fruits of a situation that you didn't put the labor in to get that. You know what I mean? It just, you can't expect to reap the rewards for the work you didn't do. And I think that, when you're in a relationship, your relationship should be based on, your foundation should be based on, trust and truth and understanding. Mm-hmm. And everybody has deficiencies. Everybody has flaws. I think, the problem with these passengers, passenger prince, passenger princess, and the reason why we said the broken promise, I think in all relationships, you don't show up who you are on the first day. You just don't.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you older, I think you may, because you feel like I don't have that much time. I'm going to be very intentional. But most cases, like you first started dating somebody, you're in your 20s, your 30s, or even perhaps your early 40s. If you're not intentional about what you're doing, your representative is going to show up. Because I don't think most people are going to show up with a long list of all their red flags.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, no, some people probably do. Because people probably feel like, look, I've been through this shit before. Here's who I am. You like it or you don't, right?
Yeah.
But the problem, what we're trying to say is, even if you show up as a representative, if you send your representative for the initial engagement or meetings, at some point you have to have your representative introduce your significant other, your partner, to who you really are.
Yeah.
In order for it to work. Because if you're faking and she faking, then obviously the relationship is not real. You can't want real results with an unreal relationship. And if you don't have a real relationship, that's, ass backwards. So I just think, like, moving forward, when people see these signs, it's not an instant. It's not an instant key to kick them out your life, but you have to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think if you don't check those behaviors, if you don't check those things, then they grow into much larger things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people as a whole, period, people is going to try to do whatever you're going to let them get away with.
Yep. Yep.
So I think you need to check it.
Mm.
You need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And what you said earlier, you definitely need to pay attention to how people react in routines. You know, people, it's a lot of work masking who you are. And I think when people get really comfortable, they start letting you get that behind the scenes ticket to who they really are. And it's just up to you to say, hey, can I deal with this? Can I manage this or not?
Yeah. And I think really what I think it comes down to is that I think you need to have conversations at the beginning, and even a conversation with yourself or your therapist, however you want to play it, to understand what are your expectations out of relationship. Because I also think when we this is a coin term, kind of passenger prince, passenger princess, but is that okay sometimes, right? What I
To
mean,
be one?
yeah. And I mean, what I mean by that is if we go into this and I say, I'm looking for this, and I want, I'm going to be the breadwinner. I want you to stay at home and take care of the kids. And, you might have to listen to me a little more. You might have to tuck some of your dominance for that. But if we can agree on that, I think I guess what I'm saying is, I think the problem only enters because you guys haven't agreed on that. Everyone's making assumptions, and I'm thinking you're okay with it because you're going along with it, and then you're thinking that at some point I'm going to change.
I think that's the point.
I think that's the.
I think it can work if both parties come to the realization and say, hey, these are the things I want. Here's my requirements. Here's the criteria that I want you to meet. And you keep it there. You can't change your mind.
You can't change.
You can't change up 5 years later, 10 years later, 10 years later without coming back to the table.
I was going to say, or you can come back to the table and then you got to almost like talk about it again and renegotiate, but you have to be okay with you might not be able to come to another agreement because you might have changed as a person. They might have changed as a person and they might not be willing. I think the princess role is probably more accepted socially than the prince kind of royal.
For sure.
So that's kind of why I, gave my analogy on that, because I think that's probably a situation. Or I think even in the princess role, I think sometimes when those women are younger, in situations and there's a age dynamic, they can grow and think like, oh.
But who wants either the passenger prince or princess when you get to a certain age? Because at the end of the day, then your significant other or whoever you're in the situation with, you start looking at them as a fucking additional kid.
Yeah. And you need someone that's a contributing.
You need somebody that's an adult.
Right.
To do adulting with. You don't want you don't want a grown ass man, boy, or girl child.
Let's just say, even if they're, taking care of the kids, they're doing a heavy lift in areas, you want a teammate. In marriage, when you're married, now we're talking about marriage, when you're married, you want an active, willing participant. You want someone that is willing to get in the mud with you, not someone that's like, whatever, okay, going along, getting what they, you want someone that, sink or swim, right? Whatever happens. But in order to be that, you have to be fully invested. I think a lot of times people may not always be as fully invested because they, for whatever reasons, multiple reasons why you might not be. But in order to have a successful, meaningful relationship, there has to be, and things ebb and flow, but, there has to be some level of congruence on the level of investment an interest in making the relationship, work.
So, so I think before we close and give maybe one or two final tips,
Okay.
I think what you're saying is I think there has to be mutual equity in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right. It just has to be.
As much as possible.
And I think it has to be. I mean, everybody needs to know their role, their position that they play.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready to be able to switch roles at a drop of a dime because, when life started life, it's a lot of curveballs. It's a lot of deviations. There's a lot of compromise and there's a lot of concessions that may have to be made.
Right.
You have to be ready to get in there and pitch hit. You got to be get in there and ready to pick up the slack and perform duties and roles and responsibilities maybe that you're not used to doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because again, when life starts life, it's not going to pause and wait for you to figure out or convince yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fucking do it. And I think that, in a relationship, that's what that's really about. I think that one final point to what you said earlier, I just want to get back on that real quick. I think, yes, you can come to the table and because it really gets down to what you can tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
That's relationship, period. Right? That's why some relationships last a long time. You master the ability to tolerate shit that infuriates you or not. When they don't last long, you made them, hey, look, I'm not fucking with anybody. I'm not going to tolerate this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
And it's just really that simple. It ain't complicated. People try to make it complicated, but it's really not. But again, I think if you do go into those situations and you agree, then you can't change your mind later.
Yeah.
You can't change your mind later, and you can't secretly be hoping that they're going to change, right? Because I've already told everyone, men want women to stay just how we found you, just how we got you. That's what men, all the shit that you were doing, we want you to keep that shit, keep that energy going. All that freaky shit you did, all that shit you do to get us to be willing to wife you and give you our last name, we want you to keep doing that shit at 65, 70, until we get
65.
Fuck yeah, until we go. More women are on the build a man project. Right? So men, we love it just keeping shit just the way it is. So you can't change your mind.
Yeah.
You can't let social media change your perspective on shit because you see somebody else or see some other character online living a life that you believe should be yours. You can't do that. Right?
Yeah.
And if you can really stick to the script, I want you just to do 5 things. Right? And if you are comfortable with doing 25 things, then that's the ratio. You can't change that shit up without having a conversation. And like you said, an agreement. And relationships, each year is a fucking renewal. That's how I look at it. Each year is a fucking renewal.
Yeah.
All right, it's Jan 1 coming. Let's sit down and talk. Let's negotiate. I think relationships, healthy relationships that make it, they understand that, right? You just can't have a one-time, this whole notion about a one-time, lifetime contract, that's bullshit. Because, no, it is. You're not the same person that you were at 27. I'm not the same person that I was at 27. Every year, you have to go in there and have these negotiations. Talk. Where you at? What you thinking? Blah, 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 blah. Do you need this? Do you need that? Do I need... You got to have that open conversation.
Yeah.
And, the final thing I would say is if you're the person who has all the load on them, right? If you're taking care of everything, if you're the person who's doing the 25 things versus the 5 things, I think it's imperative for you, right? If you're going to take on the responsibility and the major workload, if you will, of the relationship, then you got to be comfortable and enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
You can't just do it because you think that's what I have to do to make this person stay with me or to make this relationship work. If you want to take on the burden of all those responsibilities, then you got to do that shit with a smile. You got to do that shit like you want to do it. You got to shit like it gives you motivation in the morning that you're going to do these things. And because what I'm getting at is you can't secretly then resent the other person for only doing 5 things. When you told this person, all I need you to do is these 5 things. If you're a passenger princess, if I already told you just look fucking pretty, then why am I getting mad that you don't cook, you don't clean, you don't nurture the kids? You just fucking look pretty. I mean, this is what it is. So I think you gotta keep it tall, and you gotta keep the perspective balanced, and you gotta, like I said, you gotta go back to the fucking table. If I want you to look pretty and cook, clean, and be a nurturer to the kids, then we gotta go back into renegotiate that. Hey, I said 2 things at first. Now I want you to do 7 things. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah. And I know you said we're getting ready to wrap up, but I think one message that I think I hear, and I hear you saying, and I hear throughout our conversation, is communication. That's key. It's key throughout your relationships, no matter the dynamics, no matter whether we're labeling princess, prince, or whatever your roles are. Because I think when it comes down to it, those are terms that people coin, right? At the end of the day, if you're together, be together. To stay together, you got to communicate, and even more so, you got to work together, right? You got to be working. You're on the same team, and sometimes, you're going to do more. Sometimes the other person is going to do a little less, but at the end of the day, we're still working towards the same goal. And like you said, there may be some times where the duty shifts is gonna shift. The priorities and the things that you need to do have to shift. And you got to be willing, and like you said, be a cheerful person and get in there and do it. And don't, you just have to
do with glee.
Do it with glee. You got to do it with a smile on your face, because it's hard. It's hard. No matter what you call yourselves, you're coin in a relationship. It's hard. But if you're committed, you love the person, and you are, and love is a choice. It's not about a feeling of, how, euphoria and all that stuff that you might have got when you met them. But love is a choice. It's an active choice, and it's a choice that you have to continue to make daily, and you might, like you said, might need to renegotiate and talk about annually, but which I think is a good practice. But yeah, this is a good discussion, good conversation, and kind of touched on a multitude of things, and we interwove them, and then we got back together, this was good. Hope everyone had a good holiday like we did. Looking forward to some more good conversations. You want to take us out?
Yeah, for sure. When the car becomes too full of all the responsibilities that you have, and you feel that your partner is not doing their fair share, negotiate. And if you can't negotiate to transfer some of that weight, some of that responsibility, don't be afraid to kick their ass out. That's what relationships is about. Balance. 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 Balance.
All right.
Don't give more. Don't expect more than you're willing to give.
Yeah, that's true.
And that goes for both, whether you're the passenger prince or the passenger princess, or the one who's, shouldering the most of the weight. Life is too short, and I think don't try to keep somebody if they don't want to be kept.
That's true.
And just know how much you can tolerate.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down. Relationship is about tolerance and acceptance, wrapped in grace. Right?
Yeah.
So, till the next time, Mr. Sincere, K. Callie. Stay sturdy, choose wisely, and we'll catch you in traffic. Hey.
Yeah, it's him, the man. Watch him take the stage. Style and swagger, all the rage. It's him, the man. Can't ignore. Watch him laugh, always wanting more. Get ready, ready for the show.